This is my review of the Beach Boys album. Surfer Girl is released in 1963. This is the first album that Brian Wilson has production credit on, which, like I said, I'm pretty sure he had a little bit to do with the sound of the first two albums, but this is the first one, I guess, where he finally, officially took over. And, this is an album that, I'm always kind of surprised because, I think that people kind of underrate it a lot. Not that, it doesn't have its flaws, because it does, but definitely when I listen to it, this is the first of their albums to me that really stands out as, something great, because the first two albums had moments on them that kind of hinted at the greatness to come, but they don't have anything like this album. This album, to me, most of the songs on it, I think, are either, great or just okay. There's not really anything that I think is horrible on it, on some of the others, because I guess, Surfing Safari has, anyway, so this album, I don't specifically remember getting this one. I think I'm pretty sure it would have been sometime in 2009. Don't remember buying it. I know I used to listen to it a lot. Definitely still do listen to it a lot. I probably, like I said, have this higher in my favorite Beach Boys albums than most people. But getting into the album and the tracks, the first song, Surfer Girl, I think it's a great opening track, great title track. Probably really one of my favorite Beach Boys songs. I really just don't get tired of this song, and I've heard it a million times. I love the vocal on it by Brian. Just amazing vocal. Why he's one of my favorite singers of all time, really. I really love the way the guitars sound in this too. I know some people have issues with the kind of early Beach Boys guitar sound, that really kind of trebly guitar, but I like it, and I don't know, I like this early kind of early 60s rock sound. To me has always been something I've really gravitated towards, so maybe that's why I like the song. But I don't know, I think it's a really cool track. The second song, Catch a Wave, by Brian and Mike, one of my favorite surfing songs that they did, really. Just as soon as they start singing on it, just I don't know, their vocal harmonies just in the beginning when they did Catch a Wave, it just knocks you out immediately. I don't know, such a good song. Actually, another one where I like the way the band plays on it a lot. I like the drumming. Pretty sure it's Dennis on this one, not positive, but I think it is. And there's some random harp in it that I think is Mike Love's sister playing it, which is cool. So pretty cool track. The third song, Surfer Moon, song that Brian wrote, kind of a slower ballad type of song, but just a really killer vocal from Brian. I don't know, just his voice, especially in these younger years, because his voice did change a lot through their career due to his various habits and stuff. But in these early years, he has one of my favorite voices of all time, especially in the early years. Fourth song, South Bay Surfer. It's not as strong as the first three songs. I think from a songwriting perspective, it's more just kind of just not as interesting of a song. But I think it fits in well with the album and the overall flow of the album, and I think the performance is good. So it doesn't bother me at all. It's not I don't think any of it's bad. It's catchy. I sing along to it when it's on, but just not quite up to the standards of the other two, or of the other three before it. The fifth song, The Rocking Surfer, is just an instrumental written by Brian, and it's fine. Like I've said before, Beach Boys instrumentals aren't really my thing, because I want to hear vocals when I hear the Beach Boys. It's kind of this okay instrumental built around a kind of repetitive organ part, but it's okay. The sixth song, Little Deuce Coupe, by Brian and Roger Christian. This another one of their car songs. and I really like it. I think along with like Shut Down, it's probably one of my favorite of their Cars songs. Another song where I really like the drums for some reason. Just, I don't know, something about the feel to them I really like, and I think it's Dennis on this one. At least I'm like pretty sure it is. And also a song that I would kind of say that I think that Mike Love does a really good job singing lead on. Mike, I know, gets a lot of criticism from a lot of people, and I'm kind of one of them. I don't, agree with, I think, a lot of the stances he's taken on things over the years and some of the stuff he's done, but at the same time, I do think that he is kind of was a legitimately talented member of the band, even if lesser than some of the other members. I do think that he made some very important contributions, especially really in songwriting, that he doesn't get enough credit for. So in like some ways I understand like some of his lawsuits later because he didn't get credit on some of the things, because that like was wrong. But at the same time, like I said, I don't agree with all of who Mike Love is, but at the same time I trying to like walk a balanced line of appreciating the things that Mike brought to the group, and at the same time like not being like, I don't know. I still want to like, some people are like, oh, Mike Love is everything that's wrong with the Beach Boys, and it's like, Mike brought some good stuff to the band too. Like he did contribute some important things. And I think he does a good job singing lead on this song. So anyway, kind of rambling. The seventh song in my room, one by Brian Wilson and Gary Usher. This song I kind of relate to a lot, just because I spent a lot of time like more in my room, I guess, growing up, and I think it's just got some beautiful vocals by Brian. His lead on it's amazing. The rest of the backing vocals on pretty much every Beach Boys song are great, because just all their vocals together are always great. And it's another one where I really like the guitar sound. I don't know. I really like the way this would have been. I think Dave and Carl playing together, or Carl lead and Dave Marks on rhythm, and I like the way they play, which I don't think Dave Marks, another one where I don't think he gets quite the credit he deserves, as far as, kind of being there at the beginning of the band and stuff, which Al Jardine was too. Actually, pretty sure that Al Jardine plays bass on some of the tracks on this album, because I think he had started to kind of get back involved with the band at this point. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. The 8th song, Hawaii, another Brian and Mike song. It's just another kind of song to me that's just like one of their early classics. I really love everything about it. I love especially like Brian's falsetto parts on it. Like I get a lot of people probably wouldn't, or well, I get like when people criticize that style of singing and stuff like that, the higher pitched stuff, but I love it, and I think Brian was probably one of the best at it, really, if not the best. The 9th song, Surfers Rule, another Brian and Mike written song. Dennis gets the lead vocal on this one. To me, it's one of his weaker lead vocals, not because he does anything wrong, but just because the song's a little bit weak. I actually like Dennis's performance on it. I like the band in general's performance on it, but I think it's just kind of a lackluster song. That said, it's not bad, and it doesn't hurt the overall flow of the album or anything. It's just not one of the standout tracks. The 10th song, Our Car Club, is another Brian and Mike song. This one actually has Hal Blaine of the Wrecking Crew playing drums on it. And really, his drums are probably my favorite thing about the song. They really kind of drive it, and are really kind of the thing that stand out the most about it. It's not a bad song. It's just not, to me, not incredibly interesting. Even though I think that the kind of overall feel of it and some of the stuff that it does musically does kind of show the way to some of the stuff that Brian will do later. It reminds me a little bit of one of the songs off Today. I think the 2nd song, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now. But yeah, it reminds me of some of the stuff that he would go on to do later. The 11th song, Your Summer Dream, was written by Brian and Bob Norberg, somebody that I'm not really familiar with. and it's kind of a slow ballad that's like not really that terribly interesting, but I like it for the performances and for the vocals. And then the 12th song, the album does kind of close on a weak note with an instrumental called Boogie Woody. The Brian Run, it's okay, but it's an instrumental, like I said, and this is a Beach Boys album. I don't want to hear instrumentals. I want to hear them sing. But that said, the album as a whole is like very short. I think it's only like 25 minutes or something. But I'll rate this album a 4 out of 5, which probably to some people sounds ridiculous. But just the strength of the songs that I really, really like. I mean, these are some songs that like I wouldn't want to be without in the Beach Boys catalog. And I do think that, I don't know, I think this is a really underrated album, and that not enough people kind of give it the credit it deserves, because it's got a lot of their great early songs on it, and even the kind of filler tracks, they're not really that bad, and they kind of fit in with the album, and it's just kind of a nice, I don't know, nice early surf rock, car rock kind of album if you're into that thing. So, yeah, Surfer Girl, I'd recommend it. I'm not sure. I don't know. The Beach Boys have such a weird like group of albums and stuff, and it's kind of hard to get into some of their albums. So I don't even really know where I'd recommend people buying this or listening to it in their like journey through the Beach Boys albums. But I think it's definitely their first album that was a really good album.